thank you for staying back. And I would like to take this opportunity to thank Dr. Rao for giving me the opportunity to present my work here, and also for the sumptuous food. Food was too much, actually, but it was great. The topic of my talk today is going to be ovarian cancer, which has not been covered extensively in this forum yet. So hopefully I'm hoping to overwhelm you with everything that you want to know about ovarian cancer, but was afraid to ask. So with that introduction, I would like to divide my talk into three portions. First, initially I'll give you a little bit of background on ovarian cancer, and then in the next phase, I would like to introduce you to the concept of repurposing drugs, which I think should be adopted for several different cancers as well. And then finally, I hope to convince you that with the results that we have gotten with quinacridone, that it should be repurposed as a drug to treat ovarian cancer, and a little bit of future directions. Every year, actually, in the United States, about 22,400 cases are diagnosed with, women are diagnosed with ovarian cancer, and almost 15,000 of them succumb to the disease. This is almost 70% of the patients with ovarian cancer die from the disease the same year. The reason for this is because it is the second most common gynecological cancer with the highest mortality rate. The highest mortality rate associated with ovarian cancer is because most of the patients are diagnosed with late-stage disease. Most of them, by the time they come in, they are already in stage 3C or 4. And the tumor signs, as you saw yesterday with the presentation from Dr. Sorry, I forgot his name, but it's huge, and it has already metastasized, not only to the peritoneum, to the omentum, and to the bowel as well. But the unique feature, another unique feature of ovarian cancer is that initially they are all extremely sensitive to chemotherapy. But as the tumor progresses, majority of them develop chemo-resistant disease. And the 10-year survival is actually only 30%. And for these reasons, we have to be very careful when we think about ovarian cancer as a cancer that is related to other diseases, actually. And if you look at the clinical course of the disease itself, at the time of initial diagnosis and surgery, the women who come in with ovarian cancer have extensive disease, and as reflected by the high CA-125 level, as shown here. Following surgery, there is a precipitous drop in the tumor volume, as shown by the reduction in the CA-125 level, and they usually undergo 6 cycles of chemotherapy. At this stage, most of the patients are observed, and about 15 to 20% of them are actually cured at this stage. But for the majority of the patients, almost 70% of them, come back with a recurrent disease, where you can see a rise in the CA-125 level, and later on, there is extensive diseases. The recurrent tumor that comes back is extremely chemo-resistant. And these kind of statistics, and those chemo-resistant recurrent tumors, they have very few options. Second-line, third-line therapies never work in ovarian cancer. Recently, PARP inhibitors are showing some effect, but that is like a personalized medicine, or because they all have BRCA-ness kind of thing. But for the other patients who do not have this BRCA signature, most of them do not have the option of going on to the PARP inhibitors. And therefore, these kind of statistics dictate that we come up with novel drugs that are cheaper, that are not as expensive as most of the targeted therapies that we talk about. And not only that they are cheaper and important, but they should actually target the chemo-resistant recurrent tumors. Those are the kind of drugs that we need. But as we all know, designing and developing new drugs is extremely expensive and time-consuming. And for the amount of money that has been invested in cancer prevention and treatment, drug development has really lagged behind. As we heard previously, it takes about 13 to 15 years of research for a single drug to go from the bench to the bedside. And it's not only that it takes that long for an FDA approval, what it has been shown, reported, that only 1 out of every 5,000 or 10,000 prospective anti-cancer agents receives FDA approval. And only 5% of the oncology drugs entering phase 1 clinical trials are ultimately approved. And as we know, most of the currently available cancer drugs are highly expensive and provide minimal increase in overall survival, and they are also associated with numerous side effects. These failure rates underscore the need for alternative efforts of drug development. And for this reason, actually in 2011, NIH recognized that drug repurposing as a priority goal in drug development. Okay. So what is the drug repurposing? It goes by different names, but essentially it is the use of existing drugs for new therapeutic applications. In other words, it's a process of finding new uses for old drugs. And this concept is not really new because in 1988, Dr. James Brack was awarded the Nobel Prize for discoveries of the important principles of drug treatment, where he said most fruitful basis for the drug discovery of a new drug is to actually start with an old drug. So using non-cancer drugs to treat cancer provides an opportunity to rapidly advance the therapeutic strategies into clinical trials. Sorry. That's the wrong button. I want to go back. Okay. Okay. What is the purpose? What is this? Why is this approach gaining more and more attention? Because, as I said, most of these drugs are FDA approved, and they have a less risk of failure. And more importantly, they have an established record of safety. And the toxicology and the pharmacokinetics is already known. And it, of course, costs less. And there is a very short time from bench to the bedside. I'm doing something wrong, obviously. Oh. So there are several examples of using old drugs to treat new indications or new other types of diseases. I have highlighted metformin here because we have done a lot of work on metformin in ovarian cancer. And based on the work that we have done both in vitro and in vivo, and in collaboration with Dr. Ernest Lengel at the University of Chicago, who has also done a lot of work on metformin, the ovarian cancer spore is now poised to start a clinical trial with metformin in ovarian cancer at the Mayo Clinic. And based on this success, so we thought, why not try a repurposing drug? And initially, what we had, and of all the drugs that I have listed there, you may be wondering, why did we choose peripheral? Actually, one of the other projects that are ongoing in my lab is to target lipid droplets. Lipid droplets are usually present in highly chemoresistant cells, and they have been associated with metastasis as well. And as shown here, QC stands for quinacridine. This particular highly chemoresistant ovarian cancer cell has a lot of lipid droplets shown by body staining, and when we treated them with several drugs, including QC, what we saw was a dramatic reduction in the lipid droplets. This was very, very amazing to us because we never thought that quinacridine was going to target lipid droplets, because we were actually testing even very specific drugs that were involved in inhibiting lipid droplet biogenesis. Actually, quinacridine was more effective than that drug. And when we saw this, we said, what happened to the lipid droplets? So when we looked at them by transmission electron microscopy, we saw untreated cells had all these lipid droplets, shown here with the green circles, but most of them were engulfed into these autophagic vesicles, into these huge autophagy vesicles, which meant quinacridine was inducing autophagy in these cells and engulfing the lipid droplets through a process called lipophagy. So why use then? So based on this, we said, let's try QC. And other reasons for using QC for ovarian cancer, as I already said, it's an FDA-approved drug with a long history of safety risks. And just to give you a little bit of background on quinacrine itself, it was initially used as dyes and pigments in the 1920s. And later on, it was used as an antibacterial and anti-parasitic drug until penicillin was discovered in the 1940s. And later on, it was, the interest in quinacrine was revived during Second World War when it was used as an anti-malarial drug, replacing quinine until it was replaced by chloroquine. In the meantime, actually, thousands and thousands of military personnel had taken quinacrine as a prophylactic. So, and other studies had actually shown anti-tumor effect of quinacrine in several other tumor types, as it's studied here, breast, colon, lung, prostate, and head and neck cancers. But there were no reports in ovarian cancer so far. And also, unlike targeted therapy that we talked about, quinacrine belongs to a drug called polypharmacology, which means it actually targets several different pathways simultaneously. There are several reports to show that it simultaneously activates p53, downregulates NF-kappa B, downregulates AKT. It affects apoptosis, it affects autophagy, and also methylation-related pathways. But more interestingly for me, there have been reports also quinacrine actually sensitizes cells to chemotherapeutic agents such as lycopene in breast cancer, cytarabine in glioma, and vincristine in an MDR subclone of these 562 cells. It not only does this, there is also a report that it targets cancer stem cells and the more importantly, it is right now in phase 1 clinical trial in 3 different cancers, as shown here. Hepatocellular, colorectal cancer, and also in lung cancer in combination with erlotinib. So for all these reasons, we decided to test quinacrine in ovarian cancer cells. For these studies, we used isogenic cells that were sensitive and resistant cells. For instance, C13 is a chemoresistant cell derived from OV2008. K8-MDR was derived from KAA. And as a monotherapy by MTT assay, we saw that quinacrine effectively inhibited the proliferation of these cells, and more so in the chemoresistant cells. And we also asked the question whether it would also induce apoptosis in these ovarian cancer cells, and we saw by flow cytometry that quinacrine induced apoptosis, again a little bit more in the resistant cells than the sensitive cells. And this was actually confirmed by our Western analysis where we saw grave park. Lots of these anti-malarial drugs like chloroquine, quinacrine, baclomycin, and others have been shown to modulate autophagy. And our own data also showed that quinacrine treatment seems to induce autophagy, and therefore we wanted to test whether quinacrine would differentially induce autophagy in the chemoresistant cells versus the sensitive cells. For people who well, let me put it this way. This is autophagy 101, just to give you a background on autophagy. Autophagy is actually a catabolic process. Under nutrient-deprived conditions, actually portions of the cytoplasm and damaged organelles and long-lived proteins are engulfed in this double membrane vesicles called autophagosomes. The autophagosomes then fuse to the lysosomes, whereby the acidic environment of the lysosomes then degrades the cargo to release amino acids, fatty acids, sugars, etc. to rebuild the cell. There are 2 specific inhibitors that we are using in this study. One is 3-MA that inhibits the early stages of autophagy, and baclomycin A that inhibits the fusion of autophagosomes to lysosomes. And there are 2 other proteins that we normally use to determine autophagy flux. One of them is LC31 that gets converted to LC32 through the lipidation, and this actually associates with the growing autophagosomes. The other protein that I'm going to be concentrating on is P62, which is sequestrum 1, which actually is a carboprotein that binds to ubiquitinated proteins and brings them to the autophagosome. P62 in itself also binds to LC3 and gets degraded during the autophagy process flux. So this is a busy slide, but what we wanted to show here was that QC treatment induced autophagy here, as shown by the appearance of the LC3B2 and downregulation of P62. Even though you see a little bit of downregulation of P62 in the sensitive cells, the basal level of P62 was much higher in the resistant cells, and it was much more downregulated upon QC treatment. These two sets of cell lines are carry wild-type P53. Since most of the ovarian cancer, almost 99% of the high-grade serous cells carry mutant P53, we wanted to know whether QC treatment would induce autophagy in a P53 independent manner. And these two cell lines are high-grade serous cell lines carrying mutant P53. And even here, we saw the appearance of LC3B and downregulation of P62. And another way, as I said, to look at autophagy is to look at the autophagosome formation by TEM analysis. And even here we saw slightly more autophagosome formation with TEM analysis. When you look at TEM analysis, all it tells you is there is autophagosomes. It doesn't tell you whether this is promotion or inhibition of autophagy, because inhibition of autophagy would accumulate a lot of the autophagosomes but will not fuse with the lysosomes. So in order to distinguish this, we used a inhibitor bacillomycin A to inhibit the fusion, and there is a fluorescent dye available cyto-ID that only binds to the autolysosomes. And the flow cytometry analysis very clearly showed that QC-induced autophagy was completely attenuated in the presence of the bacillomycin A inhibitor. While this was true, we wanted to know, because P62 is a very important molecule, and higher levels of P62 have been associated with worse prognosis in ovarian cancer. And if we inhibited autophagy, and under those conditions when P62 is degraded, will we recover the level of P62? And bacillomycin treatment, obviously, we were able to recover the level of P62 back. And since our data also indicated that peripheral alone is able to induce apoptosis, we was wondering whether the apoptosis induced by QC is also dependent on autophagy. And when we did the flow cytometric analysis in the presence of bacillomycin, we saw that the level of apoptosis induced by QC was attenuated in the presence of bacillomycin A, indicating that QC-induced apoptosis was also dependent on autophagy. There seems to be a crosstalk between apoptosis and autophagy with QC. And the question is, which came first, the egg or the chicken? So we treated the cells with 2 chemo-resistant cells with 5 micromolar QC for different lengths of time, and we saw actually P62 was downregulated at 4 hours with the appearance of the LCP2 in these cells. However, cleave PARP only appeared much later. So this indicates to us autophagy is the first event that QC does, and then later on it coincides with the apoptotic response. One of the objectives of this study was really to see whether we can find a drug that will synergize with cisplatin or carboplatin to sensitize these cells to chemotherapy, right? So for this, we did synergy studies, and for people who are not aware of the kind of synergy studies we do, this is a Chow-Talele method, where we combine a 1x IC50 of the 2 drugs in different ratios, and then using this software, we can come up with a combination index. And the combination index value of 1 for the drug combination is additive. And if the drug combination is antagonistic, the combination index value goes above 1. If it is synergistic, it is below 1. And to our pleasant surprise, we saw QC actually sensitized these chemoresistant ovarian cancer cells to cisplatin and carboplatin-mediated cytotoxicity more than their sensitive cells. So the obvious question next was, is the sensitization induced by QC is also dependent on autophagy? And for this, when we treated the cells in the presence of buffalomycin here, as you see with increasing concentration of cisplatin, and we used the 1xIC50 of QC, in the presence or absence of buffalomycin, the blue one, it's already done. 20 minutes? Shoot. Okay. I have to go faster. So anyway, at the end of the day, we show that P62 is very, very important, and when you downregulate P62 genetically, you sensitize these cells to chemotherapy as well. Okay, with different kind of and all the things that I showed you were in vitro, and in vivo data using A8 and DR cells in combination again. Obviously, QC alone was able to inhibit the tumor volume, but in combination it was much more. And the ascites volume in these cells were also much more potently downregulated by QC and in combination with carboplatin. There was no toxicity with regard to the body weight or in the liver pathology. And also, the autophagosomes were much more higher in QC treatment and QC plus with carboplatin. I'm going to skip most of the other data I was going to show you with regard to the way QC is able to independently induce P21, which is a target of P53, irrespective of the mutation, P53 mutation in these cells, through actually by downregulating SCIP2, which is a ubiquitin ligase that targets P21 and P27. And actually, the inhibition of autophagy actually then restores the SCIP2 levels, and actually P21 and P27 are degraded by this. So we have now identified a compound that is able to induce P21 in a P53 independent manner. This is very, very important for ovarian cancer because, as I said, almost 98 to 99% of ovarian tumors are all P53 mutants. So this is the schematic diagram showing that QC induces autophagosomes and fusion with the autolysosomes, and it induces, reduces P62 degradation to promote apoptosis and chemosensitivity, and downregulates SCIP2 in an autophagy regulated manner to upregulate P21 and P27. So the question is, can we repurpose QC to treat ovarian cancer? I didn't think it was so, but I was wrong. You can really teach an old dog new tricks. And these are the people who did the work. Ashwani, who led the work on most of the work, and Dr. Bharti Roy and Shishmita Mandal were involved in the animal studies, and Eleftheria is a clinical fellow who did all the synergy studies, and Xiaoping and Xiaowen were helping them with all the other studies. Well, I just want to take 2 minutes to tell you that most of the cells...
Wrap it up in the next minute or so.
Okay. Well, we have a PDX model where we take all the primary tumors from the patients and we grow them in the SCIP tumors. We have about 200 PDX models so far. And you can use these PDX models to test individual drugs to see how they react. Because all these things that have been growing in these can be expanded, and they have been actually shown that the patient tumor and the tumor grafts are very, very similar in terms of either copy number changes or microarray or expression level changes. And if the patient tumor is resistant to chemotherapy, and we see also in the PDX model, these are resistant to chemotherapy. If they are sensitive, then in the PDX model, also they are sensitive. So overall, that these PDX models are very valuable resources to test any drug, because now we are not using cell line model, but the patient-derived tumor models. And with that, I'm stopped. Thank you.